And again, this is super informal. All of our lectures here are informal. You can unmute yourself, ask questions, but I'm going to leave. I'm going to head it over to Cindy, and everybody, here she is. And she's talking to us from Buffalo, New York.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for being on. You can definitely unmute. Can they unmute themselves, or do you have the power?
They can unmute themselves if they like. Absolutely.
Okay. So she kind of wanted me to tell my story. And did you share the University of Miami article with them? Okay. So I'm going to start with, I grew up in Buffalo, New York, a suburb of Buffalo. My parents played golf. They would drag me to the country club, and the pool was always my babysitter because I thought golf was stupid. I still sometimes think golf is stupid, but I got fat in 8th grade, and all the cute boys started to call me 10-ton Tessie. So I quickly found an aversion to swimming, and my only other option was a golf course. And my mom and her friends would take me out to play, and they took me to an LPGA tour event when I was 17 years old. And I saw Laura Ball and Kathy Whitworth and Joanne Carner and Betty Burfine, who she was in, you know, she was old. I'm old too, but and I saw them hit the ball, and I was like, oh my God, this is like beautiful. I want to do this. The only problem was that I wasn't good enough. So I came home and I told my parents, I want to play on the LPGA tour. I'm going to be a star. And my father said, well, that's nice, but you already signed up to go to college in Buffalo, well, Fredonia State, near Buffalo. And I said, well, I don't want to go there. And he goes, well, you're going to go there anyway. He goes, and you got to find a school that has golf at it, and then you got to practice because you're not good enough. So during the time that I went to Fredonia, I only went there for 1 semester, and then I quit. And he said, well, now you got to go get a job. So I went and got a job. But during that time, because there was no internet, I wrote letters to Golf Digest magazine and the Ben Hogan Company, and I asked them which colleges had a golf team. And I only remember 2. They actually wrote back to me, believe it or not. And I remember Odessa Junior College in Texas and the University of Miami. Well, if you live in Buffalo, you know, what do you want to do? Of course, you want to go to Miami. So I wrote to the University of Miami and asked if I could be on their golf team. And they wrote back and they said, you're not good enough. So then I wrote back and I said, well, can I come down and try? And they said, well, yeah, you come and try, but you'll probably never play. So I never visited the school. The brochure with the pretty pictures was good enough for me. We happened to have a family friend who had a summer cottage at the lake who was a captain for Eastern Airlines, and they lived in Coral Gables. So he said, well, we'll just drop her off at her dorm when I'm going back to Miami, when I'm flying the jet back. And so they did, and they dropped me off at my dorm. I sat on my bed and I started to cry, and I thought, oh my God, what are you doing? And then I stopped having my pity party, and I got up and I hit balls, and then I practiced more, and then I practiced more, and I ended up graduating the #1 player on the golf team. And we won back-to-back national championships my junior and senior year, and I was voted team captain and All-American. Now, I didn't tell you that my father had said, you got 1 year to earn a scholarship or you can't go back. So I put the pedal to the metal and I never looked back. Well, that summer I tried to qualify for the LPGA tour and I didn't make it. Again, you're not good enough. So I drove to California by myself and played on the mini tour. And I won a mini tour event, and then I qualified for the LPGA tour that next summer. And I played for 3 years on the tour. And after 3 years, I lost my card. So of the best players in the world, I was one of the worst. Again, you're just not good enough. Now, while I was at Miami, a mutual friend was going to caddy for Alan Miller at the Doral Eastern Open. And so he said, well, I'm going to get you a ticket to come watch the tournament because I'm caddying for my buddy. So I did. And that's when I met my husband, who at the time he's 8 years older than me. And he was really good ball striker. I don't know how many of you have played for a really long time, but Alan's 72. And he was the #1 and 2 amateur in the country in 1969 and 70. I might have the years wrong. He played on the Walker Cup team, twice on the Walker Cup team, once on the World Cup team, and he played in the Masters 5 times, 3 times as an amateur. So he was really good ball striker. So long story short, I lose my card. We get married. I get pregnant a month later with Kelly, who happens to be at the US Open this week because she works for the Golf Channel, which is kind of ironic. And 25 years after I lost my card, I got an email from the Golf Channel about this show, The Big Break. So I read the email and I was like, I don't want to be on this show. This is stupid. I don't want to win an exemption on the LPGA tour. Well, I don't need to do that. I was old. I was 48 at the time. I'm 64 right now. And so I thought, that's dumb. And then the little voice in my head said, well, excuse me, but we both know that you want to win a tournament on the Legends Tour. And we both know that if you were standing on the 18th hole and tied for the lead and had to hit a shot over water, you'd throw up, you'd choke your guts out. Good point. So the little voice said, well, you should apply to be on the show so you can learn how not to choke. Okay, that's a good idea. So I did, and I did really well on the show. I don't know, how many of you saw The Big Break 3, the ladies only one? Do you remember me being the token old fart of the show? Yeah. No, you don't remember me? Mr. North, come on. You got to unmute yourself. I can't hear you. He's smiling and laughing. All right, I'll keep going. So anyway, I was the token old lady of the show, and I did really, really good on the show until there was a long drive contest. And then I was screwed because I was playing with a bunch of girls that were 24 years old, and I was 48 at the time, and I don't hit the ball that far. So I lost. I came in third. Well, the funny thing is the next tournament after that show was over was the Hy-Vee Classic in Des Moines, Iowa. Now, they always made me qualify because, again, when I wanted to play on the Legends Tour, I said, oh, can I play? And what do you think they said? Well, you're not good enough. So I'm like, well, what do I have to do to qualify? And they said, well, you have to go do Monday qualifying and one person gets in. And I'm like, all right. So I had always had to do that. Well, after I was on the show, they all knew who I was now. So I didn't have to qualify. I got an exemption. So the funny thing is, on the last round, on the last day, I birdied the 17th hole and I walked to the 18th tee, tied for the lead, having to hit a shot over water with thousands of people watching me. And I did not choke. And I knocked it on the green and I two-putted. And then my buddy birdied the hole behind me and she ended up winning by 1. But the moral of the story was I didn't choke my guts out and I defeated all my little demons, right? So it's never too late to get better, is my point. I ended up coming second on the money list that year and I made $32,500. So what did I do to get better 25 years after I played on the tour? My husband happens to be the second purest ball striker Dave Pell's ever tested. So he's like, we're total opposites. I'm a competitive control freak and he's a quiet, shy guy who reads directions. So he's figured out the golf swing. And that was part of the reason I asked him to marry me, so I could get free lessons for life. And now that it's been 39 years, I'm really a lot better. So all teasing aside, he made me understand what to do with the club head to make it come back straight. The other thing that he said to me was kind of mean. I tried to qualify for an event one time in Evansville, Indiana, and I drove all the way from Buffalo to Evansville. I missed qualifying by 1 shot, and I'm driving all the way back. And this was for the Legends Tour, so I was older at the time. And I was crying and whining and moaning and groaning and saying, oh, I can't believe I missed it by 1 shot. And he said, you know what? This has nothing to do with your golf swing. This has everything to do with your head. And it was like he just slapped me right across the face, and it was on the phone. And so I said, fine, I'm going to fix my head. I'll show you, buddy. Right? So I had to really have the courage to look in the mirror to see, am I afraid to win? Am I afraid to lose? What's the matter with me? Why do I keep choking my guts out? And so it was that, along with being on the big break and really being willing to look in the mirror so I could get better. So I now, I've been on the Legends Tour for a long time, and I've made over 100 grand playing, which I never made when I played on the real tour. So I'm here to tell you that I don't give a rip how old you are. You can always get better. So that's my story. Who's got questions?
Is Anybody have any questions about like what it was like? You know, because her husband and her husband and Cindy played on the tour together. So I gather that you guys were you're the only husband and wife, correct?
Well, there were other husbands and wives, but we're the only married couple in the world that have played on the PGA Tour, the LPGA Tour, the Champions Tour, and the Legends Tour,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool.
So how did you learn your game? I mean, who was your inspiration? I mean, did you follow people? Or were you like me? Like I'm like a walking encyclopedia. I read Golf Digest like all the time, and I try to, work it out on my own.
Well, when I was younger, I would take lessons in Buffalo, right, with local pros. And then when I went to Miami, I would take lessons at Doral from Eddie Bush. And then I took lessons from Bob Toski over at Hidden Valley Driving Range. He was there, and he really helped me a lot. In fact, when I was a junior, I was always fighting for the 5th spot on the team. And I went over to Bob Toski and I said, look, I can't afford to pay you, but I will do anything you want me to do at this driving range. I'll sweep the floors. I'll pick up the balls. I'll clean the clubs. I'll do whatever. Will you help me? And he helped me. And again, he was awesome. And the other thing is there was an article in the University of Miami. If you go to MiamiHurricanes.com and you Google or click on search for Cindy Miller, they just wrote an article a few weeks ago about me. And they asked me, how much did Norm Parsons, the golf coach there, change my life? And Norm just retired, like, I don't know, 6 months, a year ago. If Norm Parsons had not given me a chance to play, my life would have been totally different. And I'm very grateful for that, because there's so many golf coaches now that want superstars. And most of these kids are playing in all these tournaments, and it's kind of like they're on tour before they really go to college. And when I was little, that wasn't the case. There wasn't an AJGA and an IJGT and a Hurricane Junior Tour and all these things there are now. So it was just work your ass off and try to get better. And excuse my mouth, but that's the way it was. And Norm Parsons was such a blessing to me. It's not funny.
So who were some of the LPGA players, I mean, that you played with? I guess I don't know the ages, but I mean, are we talking like Nancy Lopez type people that you were playing with?
Nancy Lopez. Well, so again, I'm friendly, and I'm humble enough and smart enough to always watch people better than me. And so when I qualified for the tour, again, I'm from Buffalo. So Bob Rich Sr. from Rich Non-Dairy Creamer always took lessons from Eddie Bush at Doral. So I called him and I said, look, you don't know who I am. My name is Cindy Kessler. That was my maiden name. And I said, I live in Silver Creek, and I just qualified to play on the LPGA Tour, and I don't have a place to practice. And I know you own a golf course, that he owns Palm Beach National, or did own Palm Beach National in Lake Worth. And I said, is there any way I could play and practice at your club? Because I need to come down in the winter and get better, right? I can't sit in Buffalo and freeze. And so he said, well, Joanne Carner plays at our club, so I have to ask her if it's okay. And I'm like, why would she care? I'm just a punk from Buffalo, right? And she's in the Hall of Fame. And so he asked her, and of course she said it was fine. Well, again, I didn't have a lot of money. So I worked in the pro shop at Palm Beach National in the morning. I practiced in the afternoon, and then I worked as a waitress at JDM Country Club at night so I could pay my rent. And so I got to be really good friends with Joanne Carner. In fact, my second year there, I didn't have an apartment. So she and Don had an Airstream trailer. I don't know how many of you guys, all know all this stuff about the tour, but you might even remember some of this stuff, right? She had an Airstream trailer at a trailer park. So I paid them $150 a month rent to live in this Airstream trailer with cockroaches, like huge. But I was grateful because I had a place to live, and I still worked at the country club, and I worked as a waitress at night. So Joanne Carner helped me immensely, and Kathy Whitworth helped me immensely. And Nancy Lopez, I knew her, I played with her, Beth Daniel, Patty Sheehan, who else? Anybody that's in the Hall of Fame, Betsy King.
Did you know Patty, was it Peggy Bell Kirk? Is that right? Or is that?
Peggy Kirk Bell. Peggy
Yeah.
Kirk Bell. Now, Peggy Kirk Bell wasn't on the tour then, but I knew Peggy Kirk Bell because Peggy Kirk Bell's daughter, Bonnie, is married to Pat McGowan, and Pat McGowan played on
McGowan,
the
is it
tour with my husband. So yeah, I knew Peggy Kirk Bell is awesome. God, what a salt of the earth.
Yeah, I was able to have some lessons with her in Pinehurst, and it was amazing. Anybody here, one of our members, do you have a story of, were any of you growing up on tour? You know, we love, does anybody have stories of meeting their favorite golfer out there? Anybody have similar stories about growing up and wanting to golf and not being blessed enough to have their parents' blessing? Anybody? I mean, we have to have some stories. I want to get to know everybody. Unmute yourselves and talk about your golf game maybe, or how long you've been playing golf for.
Or whatever you want to get better at.
I'm going to ask, I'm going to put it on the spot. Mr. Weiner, since you were the first one on, how long have you been playing golf? You have to unmute yourself. Okay. How long have you been playing?
Played as a youngster before I was married, and then after we had children, I stopped, and I hadn't played again until many, many years later, and took up the game more after I retired again. So it's been on and off for many years. But I've been retired for 30 years, and I've been playing here for 25 years.
That's awesome.
Mr. Kavanaugh, how about you? How long have you been playing? And don't forget that you guys switched your tee times, okay?
Yeah, you switched.
Yes, I know.
Mr. Kavanaugh, how about you? Do you and your wife play together?
We have fun together.
Is that working?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. On Sunday we'll play together, then play a couple times a week. I retired the first time, and then in my second time, I was traveling for 6 months a year, so I didn't get a chance to play except down here, you know. But still working at it. I have a lot of challenges.
What are your challenges?
Short game.
The short game.
Are they?
Yeah,
Like chipping?
yeah.
You know
Does
what
anybody else raise your
I
hand if you have
send you
problems with chipping?
You know what I'll do, Tammy? I'll send you a couple links of some short game tips that you can share with them. Now, something else that I did, you guys, I don't know if you know how to go to the chat, but I put in there a link, and you don't have to take this, but it's an audio visual kinesthetic assessment to find out whether you want to see it, feel it, or hear it. So if you're taking lessons down there and sometimes it doesn't quite get through, like our son happens to be very visual, and my husband, and we have 3 kids, but one of them's really, really good. He's like a +3 or 4 or 5. And he played college golf at Augusta State, and he beat Webb Simpson in a tournament. So he's a really good player. And my husband would always say to him, well, can't you feel what I'm telling you? And he finally looked at my husband. He said, I can't feel a thing you're telling me. Why don't you show me what you want me to do? So there's a free link to an audio visual kinesthetic assessment if you want to take it inside the chat. And I think Tammy's going to send it to you as well to find out if you'd rather see it, feel it, or hear it when you're taking lessons. Who's got something that I will send the link to the chipping. I did a chipping tip on the Golf Channel that hopefully will help you, Mr. Kavanaugh.
That'd be terrific.
And I can also send her a link. I've got an email thing that I send out a free tip every week, and it's automatic. It comes to your email. So I'll send her the link. And if you're interested in that, just sign up for it. I love helping people get better. So who's got something they want to get better at and has the courage to admit it? Carol, go. Unmute yourself.
All right. I would like to have my golf ball go straight.
Okay, so you know what I'm going to tell you? I have a mirror here, and I'm going to use the mirror like it's the face of a club. When you have the club head, there's two lines on an iron. So and I should have went and got a golf club. But here's pretend this is the face of the club, right? And this is the shaft. So I'm standing up like this. There's two lines at the end of the grooves on the face. Those two lines always aim the face to go straight. Are you with me? Now, when I was little, everyone would say, keep your head down, your arms straight, shift your weight, turn your shoulders, hit the ball, follow through. And that's not true. So the ball goes straight when the face is straight. So when people tell you to keep your arms straight, what happens is you pull the grip down and the face is wide open and the ball's going to go way to the right if you're right-handed. So you need to relax your wrists, relax your arms, and I want you to almost feel like you're going to slap it with your right hand. And if you do that, the ball's definitely going to go straight. I guarantee it. So the straighter you keep your left arm, the worse you're going to hit it. You're going to hit it fat and you're going to hit it to the right if you're right-handed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Cindy, have you ever played Winged Foot where they're playing the U.S. Open this weekend?
I did. I played Winged Foot when I was on tour in a Pro-Am, and I forget who the sponsor of the Pro-Am was, but I got yelled at when I got there because I had a pair of shorts on and you weren't allowed to wear shorts. So I had to go in the pro shop and buy a skirt or a pair of pants.
How was the rough? Has anybody been watching the U.S. Open today and seen how thick that rough is? It's kind of crazy. I asked Cindy if she's seen it yet, but she said her daughter's there right now.
Yes, she's working for the Golf Channel. She's senior talent booking producer for Morning Drive. So she's got her own golf cart peeling around at the U.S. Open. I can tell you that the rough at U.S. Opens, I've played in 5 U.S. Opens. It's unbelievable how hard it is. But they have to do that because these guys hit it so far and they're so good, they got to make it hard some way.
But today you saw a lot of the players, they're hitting it out of the rough. You know, there's all strong enough. Phil Mickelson, all of them. So it's almost like now they got to think of something else that's going to be challenging.
Yeah, they'll make the greens impossible.
Yeah, it'll get a little windier too. It was a very calm day today.
Was it?
Yeah. The scoring was surprisingly low. They were really shocked because most of the players are saying they think it's going to over par is going to win the tournament.
Wow.
Yeah, and they got guys today, -5. I think it's 12 or 15 guys under par, which was really a shock. So I think I don't think that'll happen in the next few rounds. I was actually supposed to be a marshal. We're up in Somers, New York, up in Westchester. I've marshaled at multiple U.S. Opens and PGAs, and I was actually marshaling at this one. And of course, because of the the pandemic, they limited the amount of people. Well, no people, spectators. So they limited the marshals, and it's actually only Winged Foot members that are allowed on the course. They weren't letting anybody in from the outside.
Really?
So yeah, but that's very cool. I mean, I really enjoy it. I've done a lot of them, and
Did you do
the
anything
Open
at
is set
Oak
up
Hill?
so tough. Huh?
Have you come to Oak Hill in Rochester?
I was at Oak Hill for the Ryder Cup. When was that? Like 20 years ago?
Yeah.
That's what a gorgeous place. That was amazing. Yeah, and the Ryder Cup is an amazing experience. The excitement.
It is.
So that is, but it was a long time ago.
Cool. Who else has got something they want to fix?
Cindy, I have a question for you. On being on tour, we know we wanted to talk just a second about the LPGA Tour. How has it differed from when you were there to how it is now? Is there a lot? There's probably, I don't know. Are there any more like from rags to riches stories out there, or do you think there's has that changed as well? Are there many people like yourself coming up through the ranks right now?
Well, if anybody watched the Women's British Open, you had to have been rooting for Sophia Popov. So Sophia got into the British Open via how she finished in a tournament in Ohio. And she had lost her card. She had gotten Lyme disease. She was going to quit playing. and she wasn't even supposed to be there, and she ended up winning the tournament. So that was just an amazing story. The difference between when I played and now is, number one, the money. And number two, when I played, it wasn't about, I mean, yeah, you're always your own inventory. Your only inventory is you. And so it's all about what you do with a club and a ball on a golf course. But nowadays they have teams. My team does this. And, you know, it's always about working out and nutrition and a mental coach and a physical coach and a golf swing coach and a putting coach. And, you know, it's like, how much money are you spending on all these people? You know? So, and they fly private jets, and, you know, so it's way different than it was. And it's more of a business, you know. I think it's cool, but I think sometimes these kids have got a little bit too much pressure on themselves. I think it's coming from parents. So what I see, we teach an awful lot of kids. You know, I teach people from 3 years old to 92, but the kids that we teach, some of the parents are so pushy that I feel sorry for the kids, because the parents are expecting them to be great, and these kids are going to end up screwed up.
Anybody? So now back to tips. I'm just, you know, I'm like trying to get the pulse here with our group. They're so quiet. Usually people are like,
Mr. North
I
had
think
something he wanted to fix.
yes, he did.
Yeah, the biggest problem that I'm having is loss of distance as I get older. I mean, the last 20 years, it's like I lose 10 yards every year.
Oh, that's not allowed.
So pretty soon it's behind me.
Okay. So what I would do, have you heard of super speed sticks?
Yes, the swing.
Do you have them?
I do not have one.
Okay. So here's what I would do. I would take a driver and I would flip it upside down, and I want you to grip it on the shaft up by the head. Okay.
Okay.
So the head's sticking in your tummy, and right below the head, you're going to hold the shaft. So the grip's down where the head would be. You're going to hover above the ground a little bit. You're going to swing it back, and you're going to slap the crap out of it. And I want you to make whooshes with the club head. So I believe that people don't hit it as far as they could because they're trying to turn and rotate, and they've got no club head speed. So what I tell people to do is pretend you're sweating like a pig. You don't want anyone to see you sweat. You're holding the club above the ground. You're going to swing it back, keeping your arms close to you, and use lots of wrists and absolutely whoosh it through. And if you do that with relaxed wrists, you're going to gain more club head speed, and it's going to go further. You're going to feel like you're doing it wrong, but it's not going to be. So watch those guys this week and listen for the whooshes of that club head when it goes flying through. They're not using all body and turning and rotating. So I was hitting it shorter, and of course getting depressed because I'm not that long anyway, and thinking, oh my God, you're so old, and you know, blah, 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 everything we all think. And so my husband was out there with me, and he goes, you're trying to hit it with your whole body. Just use your hands and let it rip. And I got to tell you, I'm hitting, I got the Maverick irons and I got a Maverick driver. I'm hitting it a club farther than I was last year. So yeah, there is hope. You know what? The other thing is, if you guys got questions, my email is cindy@cindymillergolf.com. Feel free to email me, and I'll make you a video and send it to you, because it's hard to do it sitting here. Who else? Yes, Mr. Gord. Unmute yourself.
I thought I did.
You did now. You're good.
Yeah. Okay. What are your thoughts on the way the game has changed over the years? I know in the old days, the pro would hit it 270 or something, and then they used a 4-iron coming on to the par 4. Now they're hitting 320 and using sand wedges. to come on, and a 450 is like a short little hole for them. And it's partly because they're in better shape, partly because the equipment, a lot because I think of the ball. All of which could have been restricted. They could have made that ball so it can't go 350 yards, but I guess they didn't want to because it looks good to hit it 350 yards. But it's sure changed the game, and I don't know if it's really for the better. Or, you know, it's the old guys used to hit it 4-irons of coming onto greens, not sand wedges. So, what are your thoughts on the way it's changed? You like it better now, or you think it's missing something?
I think they're missing something. So again, my husband played on tour for 15 years and he would hit a 4-iron 185 yards, right? And he only hit his driver like 250. So, and he used persimmon heads, you know, all that stuff. So it's, you know what, this is a good story. It's funny because Alan's the second purest ball striker Dave Pells has ever tested, my husband. And Dave Pells was always trying to help Alan putt better. And Alan would not 3-putt a lot, but he wouldn't make a lot of 20-footers. And he was always in the top 25 in fairways, hitting greens, and regulation, which means he was a really good ball striker. And so he quit playing when he was 38. And then we started teaching golf. So we've been teaching golf in Buffalo for 35 years. And his nemesis when he was ranked number 1 and 2 amateur in the country, it was with Lanny Watkins. And he and Lanny were always going head to head against each other. So Lanny, needless to say, is famous and Alan's not. Nobody even knows who Alan Miller is, right? So the Porter Cup is a men's amateur tournament that is a big amateur tournament in Niagara Falls. And our son Jamie was invited to play in the Porter Cup. Well, don't you know that so was Lanny Watkins' son. And Lanny Watkins' son and our son got paired together. So here's these two old farts, Lanny Watkins and Alan Miller, watching their sons play in this big amateur tournament. And Lanny came up to our son, Jamie, and he said, I just want you to know something about your dad. He may not be that famous, but when this guy hit a golf ball, it was like somebody painting a picture. He said, nobody did it better than your father. So I agree with you, Gord. It's a ball striking game, and now it's a slugfest of who can make the most birdies. And again, you know, people watch it and they think it's cool, but the bad news is that, you know, all these young kids are trying to beat the crap out of the ball and they don't know how to finesse it. So I kind of agree with you.
Got a question. How do they recover when everything goes to hell in a handbasket? I saw McElroy a couple of weeks ago, and he was right by the water, and he puts it right in the water from about 20 feet when he was really trying for the green. And I said, gee, I've done that. How does he recover when you're playing for the big money and you know, you've just done something like that?
You know, I don't know how he recovers. He probably got really ticked off. Did you watch? Was there any reaction after he hit it in the water? I didn't see this.
No, it was you know, in the playoffs, and I don't recall his reaction. Just walked back and picked up his gloves.
Yeah, I don't know, but I can tell you that, needless to say, everybody misses it. In fact, I'm doing a course on getting better and stuff. And a friend of my son said that Nancy Lopez told him when he was 11 years old, the best players in the world spend most of their time missing shots. So you know, when you watch somebody hit it in the water, I think a lot of people think that pros don't miss shots. I've seen pros top shots, right? So everybody misses shots. It's just whoever misses it the best and doesn't get ticked off can tend to win. So how do you get over it? I think for me, I need to know what causes the miss. And you know what normally it is? It's me not trusting what I'm doing, or protecting, or afraid. So, or not making a clear decision. It's not to do with the swing. It's to do with the thoughts before the swing happens. That's what I have found with myself. I miss shots when I'm not really committed to the shot and I'm thinking there's doubt in my head while I'm standing over the ball. I'm dead then. What about you, Vince?
No, that is exactly what I was good, thinking. I said, I know what I'm supposed to do, and then as I start to swing, something takes over and says, you're not committed to it.
You know what? And it's funny that you say that because we teach a lot of kids that play college golf. And I asked one of these young girls that just went back to school, and I said, what are you thinking when you're standing over the ball? And she said, nothing. And I said, that's not good. She goes, what do you mean? I don't want to think of anything. I go, you have to have a dumb blonde thought that's right brain, right? Which is kind of why I gave you this audiovisual kinesthetic assessment to take if you want. You can just copy that link in the chat. If you go to the bottom and you click on the chat, or Tammy will send it to you. But you have to have a thought. So I happen to be very visual, and I played clarinet for a long time. So I'm auditory, and I'm always talking in mantras like swing, hinge, slap. So I envision that I can't move off the ball, so I can't sway back and forth. I got to stay real still, and then I swing, hinge, and then slap it. So those are my thoughts when I'm swinging. So again, I've choked so much, and I love helping people not choke. So what I would tell you is that if you don't have offensive thoughts or triggers that you're thinking while you're standing over the ball, that gerbil's going to say, oh, wait, look out, the water's there, or don't hit it out of bounds, or you're 3 under par, don't blow this, or, all you got to do is bogey the next 3 holes and you're going to break 100 or whatever it is. That guy is going to, or girl is going to start talking to you. So you have to be talking to yourself because your brain can only hear one thing at a time. So just try to say, okay, what am I thinking? Back with the left, slap with the right, or whatever you're thinking, you got to have a swing thought. And that'll help that not happen. But don't stand up to hit the shot until you're committed.
Thank you.
Yep. Who else?
Well, you've got a couple swing thoughts. I have 429 swing thoughts. And I've tried every combination. I put 2 together, 3 together, number 39, 76, 122. That works for a half a day. And then there are some games I have a real good game. I go, I got it. Next day, same swing thought, same thing. Balls in the water, balls in the tree. What the fuck? Excuse me. What the hell happened?
Dropping that bomb on us.
I start all over again. Next day I have number 32 with number 16, and then I try that, and that works for a couple holes, and then it doesn't. So every day I keep writing down. If it works, I write it down. Read it before the game, throw it in the garbage, start again. Oh, every day. I've done that for about 400 games now.
Gord, you're the best. You're the best. Send me some of your thoughts. But again, I try to simplify. So you should take that audio-visual kinesthetic assessment to find out what you are. And again, you got to have like a tool chest, right? And they always change, but that's a good thing.
Always
I have a
secret. We want to find the secret.
Well, so here's the catch. Let me ask you this. Do you have like a golf swing, or are you always search and scan? Do you have the same golf swing you've had forever?
I think it's pretty much the same as I've had forever. I think I change it. I tell the guy, look at my new swing, and they go, I don't see anything different. So in my head, it's different. I think the result's the same.
Okay, so here's the catch. You got to know what you're doing with your swing. You got to feel comfortable, right?
Yeah. Mostly, I think it's the tempo and relaxation. I start swinging faster and faster and harder and tighter. And then you go, hey, just ease up. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. That's my thought. Ease up. And then it works for a while, but then somehow it disappears. And you're back to thinking, oh, I did this. Oh, I did that. Or that.
But you haven't quit yet. Good boy.
I keep thinking I'm going to get better. I
You
think
are going to get better.
And I haven't, Richard, I haven't lost any distance because I never had any to begin with to lose. So that's the secret there.
Who Who else? I heard a lady say something. She wanted some help.
Did she give any hints on how to?
Oh,
keep
I
it
think that was me.
Did
I think I want to know, like, when I'm over the ball and all of a sudden, oh, the dogs are barking. I think that, oh, I knew I shouldn't have done that, or I knew I should have stepped back. How do you get yourself to stop swinging the ball and step back? You know?
Very good call.
That's my big problem.
So here's what you have to do. You have to practice enough to find a pre-shot routine that you're comfortable with. So, you know what? I got something for you. Do you guys know if you're left or right eye dominant?
Yeah.
Yes? So
Yes.
if I do this and I look at you, oh, I can't do it right here. God bless. So I'm right eye dominant. If you do this and you look in a mirror, I'm always looking through my right eye. So I have to walk into the ball open because I'm right-handed and I'm right eye dominant. So I have to be able to see where I'm going. The worst feeling in the world is when you're standing over a shot, right? And you hear this little voice, don't swing. This feels terrible. And then the other voice goes, hurry up. They're waiting for you. Shut up and hit the ball. And then you hit the ball and then you hit it crappy and then you get pissed and then you hit the next 3 shots terrible. So what you have to, yeah, I know, I've been there. So you have to find a pre-shot routine that's comfortable, right? That you understand where you're aiming and you're good with that. And I'm telling you what, if you don't walk in the right way with your right eye, if you're right eye dominant, left eye dominant people playing right-handed, it's easier. But right eye dominant playing right-handed, it's harder. And you have to know that where you're going is where you're really aimed. So I take my right hand, I'm gonna see if I can stand up. I take my right hand off the club and then I pretend I'm tossing the ball underhanded. And if I can see that I could toss the ball underhanded with this hand, then I'm really aiming where I want the ball to go. And then when you feel comfortable, don't you hit it better? Yeah. So don't swing till you're comfortable. So I would practice enough on the range to say, all right, I'm going to pretend I got to hit a separate shot every single time, right? And I'm going to walk back and do my pre-shot routine and make sure it's perfect. And then you can swing and hit the ball and you'll be way more comfortable and the voice won't go, wait, look out, you know?
I could be standing over that tee box forever waiting for that.
Well, there's a way to help. You know, you could definitely get better and get comfortable.
Look, I rented her for an hour. Talk away. Ask your question.
I got now one, Cindy. Why the women's tour now is dominated by the Korean women? I mean, they love that game, I guess, in Korea, but not that many Korean men are making it onto the men's tour. So
yeah, isn't that weird?
Why they're there, but not like the women. The women, 50% of the top players at least are the Koreans. And there's the odd Korean here, 5% maybe at most. So
There's
I don't
more now, but there never was. And I find that strange myself. And I'm not sure why. I know that it's a great game for their culture. I know that it's their ticket out of their country, if you will. Those kids, I feel sorry for them. I mean, I've heard horror stories on Korean fathers beating their daughters when they don't play well. It's not good. So though I don't know if those kids have any fun. And they're driven. It's like they're way out of the country. The whole family comes over here. And they practice more than anyone practices. I mean, I just don't think they have any fun. I mean, it's not for everybody, but a lot of those kids don't have any fun at all. I do boot camps in Orlando. We'd go to Orange County National and we bring people in from wherever who want to come to boot camp, right? And these kids are down there practicing. And I was doing a boot camp and I was putting on the green at Orange County a couple years ago with one of my students, and there was a little Korean girl who was probably 12, 13, whose mother was sitting on a chair with a baby, and then there was a little brother, and the father got mad at the daughter and started chasing her around the green. And I was horrified, and this little girl was crying and ran away from the father, and the father got the mother and the other brother and the baby, and they all got in the car, and he was chasing her around the parking lot in a car. So my student's father happened to be a criminal lawyer from Buffalo. So I said, call your father and ask him what I should do, because I was like, oh my God, this father's going to kill this kid. He's going to beat the crap out of her. So I called the police. I saw the little girl and I go, honey, are you okay? Because I went running after her because I felt like I had to protect her, right? And she goes, I'm okay, I'm okay, okay. And then the father stopped the van, the minivan, opened the door and like, get in the car. And I was like, oh my God. So I took a picture of the license plate, called the cops. Again, you just, it's, most of them are being driven to do this. I don't know how many of them are having fun, and it's very sad. They're good, but you know, I'd rather live a life.
That's an interesting question.
Can I change the subject? Do you have an exercise to help keep your head down on a short shot?
So you know what I'm going to tell you? That I don't care if your head is down. So what I do care about is that Mrs. Greenberger?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm here.
I want you to hang over like a blob. So I don't want you to sit. I want you to bow. And I want you to relax your arms, and I want you to let the club head go down. I want you to use your wrists, and I want you to brush the grass. So I would also like you to put the club a little bit behind the ball. And what I would do is I would put it on a tiny little tee. So put the ball on a tiny little tee, and I know you're going to go, well, that's cheating. But I need you to feel how to get the ball in the air. So put the ball on a little tiny tee right here, then put a bunch of grass here, then put the club over here, and then I want you to swing and brush the grass with your wrists. I want you to make sure you're bowing. I don't want you to sit. And if you do that, you're going to get the ball in the air every single time. I guarantee it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who else?
Everybody is so quiet. I don't even know where to start, everybody. This is Mrs. North. You should have a comment. How about you and your golf game? I didn't realize that you played too. How about anybody play as couples? I don't know how many of you guys do. Any of you play with couples with your husband and wife? How does that go? Yeah.
It does better at golf than at tennis.
Oh, you play tennis together. I gotcha. And how about I think the motivation is to keep everybody going in life, like playing for as long as they can. There are some people that I talk to that don't play anymore, and they've given up the game after playing it their whole lives, and they think, you know what, they can't do it with the age or some of their physical disabilities. But how do you get these some people to pick up the game at this age and tell them like how good it is mentally, physically for them, and to get back on the horse?
So in my opinion, we have been taught that we have to keep our head down, our left arm straight, shift our weight, turn our shoulders, hit the ball, follow through, rotate, get your body through. And that is way too hard. So I have a woman that I'm not sure how old she is, but she's high 80s. And she just looked at me and I said, look, if you're going to go play and you don't hit it as far as you used to, and you're not playing in a tournament, does it really matter if you use a tee in the middle of the fairway, right? If you're not playing in the ladies' league so people don't get mad at you, why don't you just go play golf and enjoy it? And it's okay if you use a little tee and you take a half swing, you use lots of wrists and you slap it. And I got her to where she could hit it over 100 yards, right? Which is a big deal when you're high 80s, right? And so I think people think they have to play real golf and keep score, and then it's depressing. I don't, none of us want to get old. We don't want to be sick, but if you're physically able to do this, then find a way to play and have fun. And to me, it doesn't matter if you use a tee, just go have fun or play winner rules, move the ball so it's sitting on a better lie because it's going to be easier to hit. And I think if you relax your wrists and let the club head swing, because the ball will go further with more club head speed, and club head speed is letting the wrists go. So I think, you know, I'm giving you permission to not try to turn and, you know, screw your back up and hurt your knees and your shoulders and all that stuff. I don't want to hurt either. And it's really easier to hit it if you just relax and let the club head swing. So you're not allowed to give up.
Mhm.
Somebody talk to me.
I know. I mean, I could talk to you all day, but this is not
How do
my,
you make a 3-foot putt? It's the hardest putt it seems to be in golf, the 3-foot putt.
So here's what you're going to do, Gord. You're going to go to, do you have Lowe's down there?
yes.
Have wait?
You're
I'm
going
up
to go to
for
Lowe's,
loads.
and you're going to go up by on the wall where by the cash registers, there's hanging yardsticks. And you're going to buy a yellow metal yardstick. Okay? And you're going to lay the yardstick on the floor. I don't care where, in the house, the living room, on the back porch, wherever. Lay the yardstick flat. And there's going to be a little hole on one end of the yardstick where it hangs from the wall on the display rack. You're going to set the golf ball on the hole, right? Then you're going to put the putter here, and you're going to putt the ball down the yardstick, and the ball has to stay on the yardstick. Oh. And you're going to practice doing, I bet you can't do 50 in a row or 10 in a row to start. But you're going to also get to see, oh, where's my putter face straight, right? And if you push the putt, it's going to fall off the yardstick on the right. And if you pull the putt, it's going to fall off left if you're right-handed. And you're going to get a feel to how to let the putter head swing back and forth. And again, I'm not doing it like with all shoulders. I relax my wrists and let the putter head swing. And if you do that, you're going to get really comfortable making a 3-foot putt.
So cool.
As long as it's straight.
Well, but they should all be straight, right? So you're always hitting a straight putt. It's just the ground's going to make a turn.
What are the different players doing as far as fitness is concerned? One of the players, his name is just really bulked up this year.
Bryson DeChambeau.
Cambo.
Yeah, and you know what? They all have trainers, so I don't know exactly what they're doing, but I can tell you that like last year at the Women's Senior LPGA Championship at French Lick, because the LPGA is now helping to run the Legends Tour for us, the fitness trailer was there. And, you know, we never had a fitness trailer when I played on the real tour, right? 1,000 years ago. But now there's a fitness trailer with a physical therapist there, with chiropractors there, with fitness equipment. You can work out and I had a bad shoulder. So I was like, oh, this is great. I'm going to get my shoulder fixed and I'll be able to swing a little better. And it's all for free because it's on the, you know, the LPGA is bringing the trailer in. So they're really a little bit spoiled, but it's such a big moneymaker now that it's great. So exact fitness routines, I don't know, but I can tell you that they have access to it. They have a massage therapist. They have everything, which is great for them.
So they're going out and playing in a tournament and they're working out after their round.
Depends on the player. You know, I do a radio show every week called The Women of Golf on Blog Talk Radio, and some of the players don't work out when they're playing in a tournament. They might just work out like Monday and Tuesday and then stop, or do a light workout maybe after Pro-Am day. Other players work out the whole time, but they can go get worked out. They can go get stretched by the physical therapist. None of this, I mean, it's all included in their tour. Somebody sponsors, like there was a, oh my gosh, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was a physical therapist and he was from near Daytona, Melbourne, I think he was. And they're, you know, the tour paid this guy's company to bring somebody out with the tour every single week. So they can work out as much as they want in the gym at the tournament site.
What did you think of French Lick?
The hardest golf course ever. Have you played it?
Long time
Long
ago.
time ago.
Well, this wasn't the Donald Ross. This was a Pete Dye course.
Yeah.
I haven't played the Donald Ross, but I heard that's almost harder. But the Pete Dye golf course, holy cow, you can play 18 holes with clenched butt cheeks. Let me tell you. You miss the green, it's off the miles away. Hi. But you know what? It's really a good place. The last time I played in that event, I was first alternate last year and I didn't get in. The year before I played, and it's such a beautiful place.
Isn't it the spa?
Oh my God, it's just gorgeous. And you drive into this little dumpy little town and you're like, how did they make this here? How does this work? You guys, if you haven't been there, guys, you got to go. It's just absolutely beautiful. Did you guys stay at the West Baden Hotel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't it beautiful?
It's unbelievable.
Have you played Nemacola?
Colon.
Cola?
I have not. And that's a sin because I'm only about 3 hours away.
Oh my goodness. You've got to go see this.
Really?
Oh, you come around the bend, you're out in the middle of the country, and you come around the bend, and there's the Palace of Versailles.
Really?
It's spectacular.
One of the guys that comes to boot camp with us every year plays there. I got to call him and say, hey, get us on.
Both courses are outstanding.
Good to know. Thank you. What else, guys? This was fun. I hope it was fun for you. It was fun for me.
I think, yeah, I definitely think this is a first. Like I said, we'll probably have some. I think we're gonna have some tennis coaches, some tennis pros come on and talk. We got to give everybody equal time. And but how many of you are how many times do you guys golf per week? Are we looking at 2-3 times a week now? 4, or is that 3, Mrs. Norris? 3?
5, 6.
3.
Very
When I'm in Florida, not at home.
I don't know what you get. I mean, I definitely want to do when I retire is just golfing.
Up in Canada,
get better.
Up in Canada, everybody's been golfing more this summer because of COVID. Nothing else to do. So a lot of guys who golf 3 times are now golfing 4 or 5 times a week, like me. And the courses are very busy. They spaced out the starting times to 10 minutes apart instead of 7 minutes. Social distancing and all that. And everyone rides a separate cart, and it's actually quite good. It should speed the game up. You're at your ball and just hit the ball. And so it's actually been quite good. The weather's starting to change up here, though. It's starting to get cool and cold in the morning. So, and all the Canadians, any other Canadians on here? Or am I the only one? I'm looking down the line here. But
I can't believe that Mr. Glue
they
isn't
just
here.
announced, I think today or yesterday, that they are continuing to close the border between Canada and US. You can't drive in, we can't drive out. Now till November, they extended it. So if they don't open the border, we're gonna have a heck of a time driving there. So
Where in Canada are you, Gord?
we're in Toronto. But
Well, you could come see me and I could give you more things to think about.
think about it.
So when that border opens up and you're driving down to Florida, you should stop in Buffalo and take a lesson in the Dome. You've got no excuses now.
Yeah, well, everyone hopes we get there. That's for sure. Spending a winter in Canada inside your condo is not much fun.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Well, guys, if anybody's got questions, my email is cindy@cindymillergolf.com. Feel free to reach out. And I'll send you a couple of tips.
Yeah,
Cindy,
and
I would appreciate those articles you said you were going to give Tammy, whatever links or whatever. I would appreciate getting those, Tammy. So
You got it.
especially since I like the way you were talking, less technical. I stopped reading golf magazines a few years ago because it seemed like the articles were all gone and all there were these tips that were impossible to actually follow through on. And so I lost interest in the golf magazines. Figured I'd just go out and hit it around. And I like the things you were saying about stay loose and all that.
Good. You got to make it easy.
And I know the pro shop has those swing sticks. My boyfriend actually like made me do the same thing about that whooshing sound. And it is truly really one of the easiest, what do you call, things to do. But if the golf course, if the golf pros don't give you a stick, I will bring you mine and you guys can swish all you want. And it's actually very hard. It's hard to get that swish though with those sticks.
Well, if your arms and wrists are too tight, you can't make a whoosh. So you got to relax your wrists, which sometimes, like when I was little, that was like, oh my God, don't do that. And that's not true. You've got to relax and let it rip.
So I'll bring my swoosh stick tomorrow. You guys can stop by my office and I'll let you borrow my swoosh stick. And everybody bring your tape measures and, we can drive Joe crazy and like, what are you guys bringing tape measures to the golf course? So.
The trouble, Cindy, I tried that for 2 whole games. I was stubborn. I tried keeping the wrist loose, trying to just swish it through. But the ball went over here and then it went over there. And like, it wasn't squaring up at all. Just by luck, I hit the odd one. So, but it seems the looser you get, the less control you
So
have.
here's the catch. You don't want to flip your hands over. You want to toss underhanded. You do not want to flip it or you're going to hook it like crazy. You sign up for those tips. I'm going to send her the links and I'll send a couple of links for tips and then just watch them. And then if you have questions, reach out to me. I'll make you a video and send it to you.
How's that, everybody?
You can get
Okay.
better. I guarantee you can get better.
We're going to hold you to it, right, everybody? We're going to hold her to it. We're going to get better, at least a few strokes better, right?
Yep.
Excellent. All right. So I think Joe Biden's done, right? We should, I think this is
Cindy,
better than listening to politics.
what was your email again? Cindy Miller at
Cindy at
Cindy Miller Golf.
Yes, Cindy, CINDY at
All right.
cindymillergolf.com. Cindy
Thank you very much.
cindymillergolf.com.
Thank you.
Thank you. No
Thank
more
you.
questions? We good?
I learned a few things.
Goody. That was the mission.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys. Have fun.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you very much.
Everybody. Thank you for everybody.
Thank you, Tammy, for
coming.
setting that up.
Yes.
You're welcome. And like I said, I'll send out the recording and, we can, listen to some of her tips over. And it was nice to see some new faces tonight. I wasn't sure what to expect or how many people, but anytime you guys want to have a certain topic, whether any golf related or not, let me know. I guess tennis will be, I'm trying to do something for tennis next month. And then baseball. We're going to touch on a little bit of everything. So anyways, you guys, I will see some of you tomorrow and those in Canada. I can't believe that Mr. Gloob, right? Isn't that his name?
Glooby.
Glooby?
Glooby.
He and his wife don't miss anything. And I cannot believe that they're not on here tonight because he is a golf fanatic. Right?
They may be getting ready for the holidays.
Yeah.
That's true, yes. Well, we'll celebrate the holiday, but I'm sure everybody will do some golfing over the weekend. It should be pretty nice. So,
I'll call him tomorrow and let him know that you were disappointed that he didn't show up.
yes, absolutely. All right. Well, everybody, good
Well,
night.
thank you very
and-
much.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Y'all are super sweet. So I will see you later.
Night,
Bye.
everybody.